This video is about a spousal sponsorship. So if you marry anyone from outside of Canada and wish to bring him into Canada, this is the process you'll have to go through. It's taken me 2 months to compile this, and I thought I would share it with you people, so hopefully to save some time if someone else is in the process of doing the same thing. My best advice if you're going to marry someone from another country is to get them a tourist visa into Canada and then marry them here, and then they won't have to leave until they become a permanent residency, at which time they can come and go as they please. But when you marry someone from another country in another country, then the only way to get them into Canada is by accomplishing and finishing and getting this application approved. So this is the application, what it looks like in total. This is what to expect. This is 2 months of compiling all the information you can imagine. And I'm just going to quickly go through it so that you have an idea of what needs to be done and what order it should be done in. First, they have a document checklist, which is 2 pages, just to make sure everything's in place. Next, there's a 7-page application to fill out. About 7 pages, very detailed. Then there's another 2 pages about your job to fill out. $1,000 receipt needs to be included, showing that you've paid them the money they need to be paid to go through this application for us. 4 more pages is a sponsor questionnaire, IMM 5540. And at the end of that, it asks in a shaded box, on a separate sheet of paper, provide any additional details of your current relationship that you believe would help to prove your relationship is genuine and continuing. It doesn't even have a question mark there, it's just in a shaded box at the bottom. And basically, they want you to tell them anything you can about the future of your relationship, why you think she's the one, and anything else you can to help prove the relationship is genuine and continuing. For that, I wrote an 11-page letter. So they recommend minimum 1.5 pages, but I happen to have enough information to do 11 pages. And some of the stuff I wrote in here, I wrote about how difficult it is to be in this long distance relationship and why I might have chosen it over top of finding love closer to home. I also talk about what my feelings are for her and why I think she's the one, and our dreams for the future. I also talk about what my family's achieved in North America over the past 30 years, just sort of talking about my character background there. And I also add in all of the congratulatory cards and notes we've received and other miscellaneous items. I index them and I exhibit them from this letter, which is all coming up next. So that's what the letter's about. That's when I start indexing, and in the letter I use these all as exhibits. All the photos, about 10 photos here. Next is a translated copy of my Austrian marriage certificate, because we did get married in Austria, so it's in German, so that had to be translated. My option C printout, which is from the government of Canada, takes a month to get there. You have to phone a 1-800 number. It's free though. A letter from my employment, Burger Inn. And then we get into the appendixes. And I've added appendixes A all the way to I. And they're all indexed and referenced in that 11-page letter I wrote. And I'll start to show you an idea of kind of appendixes you should have and need. Appendix A is all of my Facebook messages. Quite small because we didn't do too much Facebooking after our initial introduction. Appendix B is our personal email log, and I have it split into 2 parts because it's so big. Part A and Part B. Part B, Part 1 and Part 2. And that's all the emails she's ever sent me, from the first one all the way till about a month ago. Appendix C is our Yahoo Messenger log, which we used a lot. It's quite a thick stack there. Every message we ever exchanged on Yahoo Messenger, this was taken from her computer. Appendix D, I have two printouts of the same UVU chatting. One shows the date and time, the other one clearly shows that it's UVU at the top. I thought I'd include both just so there would be no confusion. And Appendix E is my Skype text and video log. So this is good because it shows how long we were chatting during the video chats, and I highlighted them to make them more visible. Appendix F is just two pieces of paper showing my phone contact. I would always recommend more, but I found one phone bill where I showed I was calling Austria to get a hold of her, and there's another. I made a photocopy of all the receipts from 1 month of phone cards, and I wrote in the letter that it's a good estimate on how much I used every month, which is about $200 worth of phone cards. Appendix G is actually a phone bill from her, and it's all in Farsi, but it's been translated to English because that's what they ask. And again, it shows my number hundreds of times, gives them a good idea of how much we chat, and it's quite thick there. That's from her side. Appendix H is just a conference my uncle was involved in. I showed it as a bit of evidence of what our family does here in North America. Appendix I is quite a varied appendix. In it are exhibits A to R, and some of the various exhibits are cards I have sent to her, different photos that I thought was neat and interesting, like passports from 4 different places in the world at our wedding, appraisal of her ring, 3 character references from friends of mine that are doctors or business professionals, 3 different ones. And then we have a bunch of other congratulatory cards I've received after we were married in the mail, a few from Facebook, a couple letters that I have sent her, handwritten letters before we met in person, and also have her plane ticket and a package she sent to me. All of these are marked as exhibits in the top corner. Exhibit Q, Exhibit R, so there's quite a few. And they are all in order and referenced to in the letter. And that's the end of my application. Next comes her application, and it's still quite large. The only difference in size is that I included the emails on my half with my letter.